Well, hello, hello, and happy Wednesday to you. Thank you so much for joining me. If you got a chance earlier today, we had the big hashtag Winnie Sun tweet chat, and so if you didn't catch it, you can definitely jump on Twitter. If you're joining me on Twitter, you can actually do a quick search for hashtag Winnie Sun. We had a big discussion today on the topic of public relations and how it relates to those of you who are entrepreneurs or business owners or just looking to create your new brand. We had some really extraordinary experts come in today to share their best practices. But on to the show. For those of you joining me, welcome to the show. If you're joining us on the replay, happy replay day to you as well. Thank you so much for making the time. As you know, we are currently live and excited to welcome you to today's live Level Up conversation.
Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun. Market updates. Award-winning financial pro. Get ready. I present to you Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Hello, friends, and thanks so much for joining me. And I see Vicky Garvey already joining us on Facebook Live. Welcome, Vicky, to the show, and so many others. Do let me know how your week is going. Of course, where you're joining us from. It makes it so special to see your comments. Hello, friends. I'm Winnie Sun, your host, Forbes contributor, CNBC council member, and an award-winning financial pro, here to keep you on top of all things trending, relevant, important business news. And of course, this is a really, really specific time, right? That we've gone through. We're still going through quite a big pandemic here, and a lot of us is still, not quite completely back to normal, but we're edging towards that direction. But most importantly, we're still here live, and we still love sharing commentary with you throughout the show. So during the show, we're going to be sharing feedback. So definitely ask your questions, and let me know how you feel about some of the topics that we are going to be discussing today. But first things first, you know how the day runs. We start with the market. And the market, this is how it closed. It was actually a triple positive day. So this is good news. The Dow closed up 59 points. NASDAQ up 50 points, and the S&P also closed up 12 points. Now, the financial markets, for those who have been watching very closely last couple days, it's been a pretty rocky day. Rocky week, and certainly last week started this off. We had a lot of bad news coming in, but most importantly, investors are really watching closely to see what Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell will be saying on Friday. He's coming out of Jackson Hole. That's where he's based right now. And so they're looking for some direction of whether the Fed will continue to aggressively increase interest rates, or if they're going to start to settle those down a little bit, give us a little bit more hope going forward. So investors right now are definitely watching and waiting for Friday. So you're going to probably see, I think, at least in the next couple of days, quieter days, hopefully until Friday. But that's only a day and a half away. So pretty close. The big news today, of course, this was shared all over social media as well as traditional media. And it was a trending article shared by Kate Chapman, editor at LinkedIn News as well, is that President Joe Biden has decided and has discussed about relieving some student debt. For a lot of American students who graduated for substantial student loan debt, this is probably some welcome news, and perhaps for others, not such welcome news. I know a lot of people were hoping for more, but this is what we know so far. President Joe Biden has announced that he's going to be canceling $10,000 in student loan debt for those Americans who are currently earning under $125,000 a year. And of course, those who qualify for Pell Grants in college would receive an additional $10,000 in debt forgiveness. Now, it's really interesting. There's been talk about this relief in student loans for quite some time. And I know a lot of people on social media have been expressing either, joy that this is going to be happening, hope, of course, that perhaps more than 10,000 would have been forgiven. And then on the other side, you have a lot of people saying that we didn't want to see this forgiveness occur. And then why do some people have to pay off their student debt? What about people who already paid off their student debt? So there's a lot of argument going back and forth, but nonetheless, this was announced today. So I think a lot of Americans who are still continuing to struggle with student debt. This was certainly some good news, and I think a lot of students are we were even hoping for more good news. But nonetheless, I think we could all agree this is just a band-aid, and hopefully we don't have to repeat this each and every year. So if somehow we can get the cost of education to more normal, more less substantial levels, and that Americans can still get a good quality education without having to postpone all those really important financial goals that each of us has, right? Like Bill, purchase your first car or rent your first apartment, all these other important financial goals that young people need to also accomplish today. So lots of commentary coming in. If you haven't already, and if you're on Twitter, I'd invite you to check on my Twitter handle today. I'm at Winnie Sun on Twitter. I pinned a tweet asking for your opinion on how you feel about today's news regarding the forgiveness of student debt. I know Vicky's joining us from the UK, so Vicky, it'd be really interesting to get your feedback from across the pond and how that looks like. I also see Tim Son joining us from Facebook Live. Tim, it'd be great to see your feedback, and of course, Joshua Cross X Fighter, always a treat to see you on YouTube Live, and many of you from all the different platforms. Let me know. This is really big news. How do you feel about the relief on student debt? Do you feel like it was necessary, not enough? Are you not happy about it? Are you neutral about it? I would love to hear your take on it. Just jump on at Winnie Sun on Twitter. Right on top, pin tweet. There's a poll. I'd love to get your feedback. Of course, you can reply to me there and let me know your thoughts on that. Or you can actually even share it right now. Let me know in comments right now. How do you feel about this? Do you feel like President Biden made a smart decision with this student loan relief? Do you feel like it wasn't enough? Really, really curious to see how you feel. Now, the other thing I wanted to bring to your radar, and this is really important, CNBC shared an article talking about the tax ramifications of the student loan debt forgiveness of the $10,000 or $20,000, depending on if you have a Pell Grant or not. Because just because you have $10,000 relief from your student debt doesn't mean you don't have any tax obligations. Now, it's important to note that borrowers will benefit from student loan forgiveness, and they're not going to have to worry about a federal tax bill, but they could potentially owe state taxes on the portion that was forgiven. There was a great article today. I want to make sure this was on your radar. It comes from two of my friends, Kate Dorr and Annie Nova at CNBC, two just really profound money reporter journalists at CNBC, two really good friends. But I thought this was a great guide for those of you who perhaps are going to see some of your student loan forgiven here. Maybe you're earning under 125,000 a year. If you're married, you would have to earn less than $250,000 as well to be able to qualify for the $10,000 worth of forgiveness, or the $20,000 if you have a Pell Grant. But it's really important to know that there could be potentially some state tax obligations on this forgiven debt. So the article goes in quite much more detail of what this would mean in terms of taxes on your student loan forgiveness amount. But one of the main things that I wanted to point out that they talk about frequently is this, is you want to talk to your tax professional. You want to talk to your accountant and make sure you know exactly how you're going to handle this forgiveness on your student loans when you file your taxes next April. So make sure you do that. All right. So on other news, let's continue on. Actually, you know what? Before we continue, I want to just share some comments. I see Vicky Garvey is sharing that my son is going to the university in September in the UK. And I see a lot of comments coming up feeling one way or the other about student loans. So let us know. Continue to have that commentary come in, because it'd be interesting to see how you felt about, do you think $10,000 of forgiveness was sufficient for student borrowers? Do you think it was too little? Do you think it was too much? Or do you think it was not necessary, or you really just don't care? So let me know in comments. That'd be really interesting to see your take on that. Now let's talk about another matter, and this is coming from actually here in California. California is going to be banning the sale of new gasoline cars, in fact, in 2035. So starting in 2035, you're going to be purchasing a new vehicle for yourself or your household. It's going to probably be electric or some sort of, non-gas powered vehicle, because you won't be able to buy it in California. And so they're saying that this could be the trickle down of more things to come. In fact, they're saying, quote unquote, California will now be the only government in the world that mandates zero emission vehicles. And yes, this is quite unique currently, but they're saying that they expect more states to follow in California's lead. And so the California Air Resources Board will require that 100% of all new cars purchased here in the state of California to be completely free of fossil fuel emissions, which they know is based on studies is showing that is one of the chief reasons why we're dealing with global warming and warming of the planet. And so they're saying that this could make a big difference. And as you know, California is also the largest auto market here in the United States. And they're suspecting that there's going to be more than a dozen other states that will follow in California's lead here to also reduce the amount of gas powered vehicles in their states and throughout the United States. So, for those of you who are watching, have you seen this? Have you heard rumblings in your own state about this? And Vicky joining us from across the pond, have you heard this in the UK as well? And how do you feel about this? For me personally, I think this is a great idea. I mean, I drive an electric vehicle. Not only has it been the best vehicle I've ever driven, but I do love the fact that, I don't have to fill in the gas tank over and over. And I do think, we all have. We have I think we have a responsibility to help the next generation. So I'm all for it. So that's where I stand on that. But I'm curious to see how you feel about if in the future of driving an electric vehicle. Let me just say we'll say this. So I do hope by 2035 that the range on electric vehicles will be a lot better. And that way, we don't have to stop, every 100, 200 miles and sit at the recharging booth for like half an hour at a time to recharge. 'Cause I do think, that needs to be improved, but I'm pretty optimistic that that'll be the case. There'll be enough time for that to take place. Now, on other matters, I want to segue over to Apple. I don't know how many of you are Apple iPhone users. I certainly am. I'm coming to you live on my MacBook Pro here. I'm a big Apple fan. Well, Apple has just said that they're going to be planting a seed here, and they're doing their Apple Plant a Seed. They're going to be having their September 7th launch. And so they've been sending out invitations already for people to probably be on site to see what the news are going to be about. A lot of us are watching to see about the new Apple iPhone and what that will look like. In fact, it's going to be, I think people are saying this is going to be the Apple iPhone 14. Rumor is it there's going to be 4 versions of the iPhone 14. And they're also saying that we're probably going to be expecting a brand new Apple Watch, namely the Series 8. And, what that will look like too. And there's even rumors that there could be a Pro Apple Watch. Not sure what a Pro Apple Watch would look like. I mean, would it be bigger or maybe just faster, does more things? That'd be really interesting. I think we're getting to that point. We're going to get closer and closer where you really don't need to carry your phone everywhere, and perhaps you can just have it on your wrist. Actually, my best friend just had her iPhone stolen while shopping yesterday, so I'm sure she would love to see her iPhone to be put on her wrist permanently and not have to carry 2 separate devices. But yes, lots to talk about. So Sadiq, you're just joining us on YouTube Live. I see hello. It's great to have you with us. We're just talking about the new Apple event that's looks like it's slated for early September. I'm sure Greg from In the Loop, my other show, is going to bring us lots of information on that. And in fact, those of you who are also In the Loop fans do know that we're going to be coming live from this Friday. In fact, we changed the time a little bit, but we'll be coming to you live this Friday. Now, on another topic that we're seeing is with Peloton. Now, if you thought that, back in the day, remember back in the day where Amazon started off as a book selling online website, right? They were selling books. Now they seem to sell everything. And well, now it's almost like if you don't sell on Amazon, you might not really exist as a retailer, because Peloton has just announced today that they're also going to now be selling via Amazon. And so they've been forced into an $800 million restructuring deal. They've had to lay off a ton of their employees. Their CEO has announced that the CEO is stepping down. So now, in order to sell their equipment, they're going to actually be doing that through Amazon. So it just goes to show you, it's literally everything is selling on Amazon. I mean, I'm actually really surprised they're not considered a monopoly yet, but stranger things have happened. But yeah, we really interesting to see how you feel about that. More things selling Amazon. We're going through, soon it'll be in the holidays and what you're going to be spending money on. I was actually really surprised. I always thought like things on Amazon and things at retail stores that cost wise there weren't that different, right? Even if we factor in the shipping costs, it seems like it was pretty much the same. But actually, I've been finding occasions now over and over again that there actually is a pretty dramatic difference if you do a little bit of shopping, that buying things retail locally can sometimes be significantly less expensive than buying things online and Amazon either. So curious to see your experiences on that. I see Sadiq saying everything on Amazon. I know many things, and Vicky is starting saying, well, we have seen stranger things. Absolutely. Well, today was sort of short and sweet business updates for you. So I want to make sure we came to you on that. But do you know today is usually In the Loop day? So In the Loop has been moved to Friday this week. We hope to catch you then. It's going to be Friday. I believe it's going to be 10:30 Pacific, which I think is going to be 1:30 if you're joining us from the East Coast. We would love to see you and join there. Of course, follow us on social media. I'm on all the different social media platforms at Winnie Sun. You can catch me there. And of course, my direct messages are always open. So send me a DM. Love to hear from you. Let me know if you have any questions or comments, or if you see anything interesting that you think I should also share on either of the shows, do send them to me. I would love to see them as well. But thank you so much for being here, supporting our program. Always a treat to spend this moment with you. Do me a favor and share the show with someone that you care about. I want to say a big thank you to CrossX Spider, Joshua, for doing that. I saw Vicky yesterday as well. I really appreciate you doing that. If you do share the show, make sure you tag me so I can also properly thank you as well. And as a reminder, you can find full episodes of Level Up with Winnie Sun on NASDAQ, Amazon Fire, and Roku. And don't forget to check out Yes Factor with Winnie Sun on Apple Podcasts or anywhere that you tune in and listen. And with that, be well. Can't wait to see you again tomorrow. Take care now.